This is for Activity 2.1.3 Utility Shed Design Guide, Part 1. So we're just going to go over some of the basics of creating a new project, walls, floor, and a roof. So first of all, we're on the Start screen. We're going to select Architectural Template to get started. So here's our main screen. So under this template we have two floor plan levels, level 1, level 2. First we're going to rename those. So if I left click on level 1, then right click and go to rename, I want to change this first one to floor. When I hit OK, it says, do you want to rename corresponding levels and views? Always say yes. We want everything to change. So say yes. Now you can see over here on the side that level 1's been changed to floor. Now level 2, we're going to change to roof. So same thing, click on it, right click, rename, and say roof. Yes, I want to change corresponding views as well. So now I've renamed my floor plans. When I start drawing walls, I want to make sure I'm on my floor, not my roof. Otherwise, I'm going to be up in the air to start. So I have my north, south, east, and west markers here. I want to draw in this space in the middle. So I'm going to go up to Architecture tab, and I'm going to choose Wall. If you hover on it, click down, you see you have different types of wall. We're going to use the Architecture one, which is the default. So I'm given a lot of different options to place a wall. One is to draw lines. I can do a rectangle, polygon, inscribed, or circumscribed. I can do circle and arcs. Right now I'm going to just do a line. And as I click, you can see that it snaps to horizontal and vertical, and also it'll snap it closed. So when I'm done, I can hit my right button and say cancel. You can also push the escape button. So I want to cancel out of there, but I want to modify these walls. So we see how we have this double arrow as we talked about. We want to make sure that this is on the outside. This designates the exterior. So I just want to give these a click and push them to the outside. Since this is a shed, all the walls are going to be outside. So I have my walls. Now I want a dimension. So I'm going to zoom in, roll my roller ball here, and zoom in. And when I click on this, this gives me a dimension in blue. These are temporary dimensions. Only these blue dimensions can be edited. So to give this dimension, I want this to be the outermost part of the wall. So what I'm going to do is click these little blue dots until they're on the outside wall. So I know that this is going to be my 12 feet. So I'm going to click the dimension, change this to 12 feet, and it gets smaller. I'm going to do the same thing then for the 16 feet. I'm going to do that with the same with the other side. Again, I click on it and make sure that my dimension goes to the outside of the wall, and it's blue, so I can go ahead and change that to 16. So when I click away, you can see I've modified my dimensions, but I don't actually see them. So what I want to do is make those permanent. So if I click on this, let me scroll in, and click on the horizontal indicator, this is going to make it go from a temporary to a permanent dimension. So same thing then when I click on the horizontal wall, I get that. Now I can see that my 12 and my 16 are there. They stay there, and I can still drag the wall to change them, and it will update. Go ahead and undo that. And I can't just click these dimensions. If I click this dimension, it'll say that this value has no text and no effect, because it's just the locked dimension. Alright, so now we have our wall. So what we're going to do is go look at it in a 3D view. We don't have a 3D view initially in our project browser down here on the left. You see that doesn't give us that option. We have to add it every time we start a new project. So under View, I'm going to click 3D View. And you have a couple other options. We'll do camera and walk through at a later time. So if I just click on the 3D, it now gives me my familiar 3D look from Inventor. I have my Home button. I can turn, rotate it around so I can look at it from every side. So as we can see, our walls are a lot higher than we want them to be. they were entered at 20 feet. We want to change it to 8 feet. So a couple different ways. We can click on them and drag them from this method. We can also go to one of our elevations, doesn't matter which one, drag on them from here. These are a little easier because it snaps. You can also click and do them all together as well. So if I hold down Control, I can then change them all together as well. Last, you can click on them, and over in the Properties box, if you notice, it'll say Unconnected Height right here. If you want, you could also enter 10 feet there, and that'll modify them. So whichever method works, whatever's quicker, usually I make sure they're the height that what I want to get started at. Alright, so right now they're at 10 feet. Later we'll come back and change them to 8. So now I have walls. I want to come in and add a floor. So I'm going to go back to my floor plan, and I'm going to click on Architecture and Floor. Again, the Architecture floor is the one that defaults to. So we have a couple different options. We can again draw lines, rectangles, polygons, circles, but what we can use now is we can actually pick the walls since I already did it. We want our floor to go to the exterior wall for this particular shed. So you can see how it's all on the inside, the pink line. If I zoom up, I'm going to just click that double arrow and it now puts it to the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and change this floor if I click on my Properties box over here. From the drop-down menu, if I click the arrow, I have some different floor types that are already loaded. So as I scroll down there, I'm going to pick a wood joist, 10-inch wood finish. So I go ahead and click that. Click my green check mark to exit, which is a good thing to check if you didn't exit. And you can see how it's got the horizontal lines of the wood finish. Let's go check that out in 3D view. So there we have, if I rotate it around, our joist floor with wood finish. And I can look at different views. If I go down the bottom of the Revit window, I have a couple different options. I have the detail level I can change and the visual style. So if I go to realistic, kind of grays everything out. If I go to shaded, it kind of shows the lines. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Just something you want to make sure you do quite often after you create something. So the next thing we're going to do is create a gabled